Good to have you with us on this Thursday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. I'm busted at the seams to do this right now. The Washington Post interview has been picked up by the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and of course I'm broadcasting from northern Minnesota this week because that's number one where I live, and I've got a studio at home. See how nice it is? Anyway, so they picked this up. And some of the blog trash following the article is just amazing, and it's humorous. I go to it. The haters are out and about. Now, I'm having fun with this. But the one thing that gets me is that, I'm working for the Russians because I have to. Okay? I do. You know that for a fact? Give me a break. I've been in this business almost 40 years. I don't have to do anything. And then they wrote in this article that... in the Washington Post article, that I'm flying around in a jet now that I'm working for the Russians. I have been a pilot since 1987. I have owned no less than 8 airplanes, 4 piston engines. I've had a 172, a 205, a 206, a 210, a Grand Caravan, which I fly now. I've had a Citation 5 Ultra Jet, which I sold, and I've got now a Citation 650. I don't talk about this stuff, but damn it, when some writer comes up and writes a story and makes it sound like I'm working for the Russians, and oh, by the way, I've got a private jet, I've been flying for 30 goddamn years. I've had 8 airplanes. I mean, I've done some things in my life that are pretty successful. And, people, they're going back to my college days. They're going back to, he used to hang out at Mick's office in Moorhead. Damn right I did, because that's where all the chicks were. Come on. Look, this is so out of hand. It's just a hit piece, as I said. They're doing everything they possibly can. But in this article... And following in all the blog traffic, well, he's 62, and it's so sad a guy 62 is working. Okay. When do you want me to retire? Tell me, do you want... Because I don't want to. When I went home from New York and sat in my hangar for 4 months, and I thought, well, I guess I could retire right now. I got a fishing lodge up in Canada. I got a hunting ranch out in western North Dakota. I can go play golf anywhere I want. And I'm watching all the networks, and all this political talk is going on, and this went on for 2 months and 3 months and 4 months, and finally I said, you know what? I got to get back in this game. And so an opportunity came up, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I want you to know that I have had so much fun this year. It's unbelievable. And this is breaking news. I don't know when I'm going to retire because I really, really like what I'm doing. And then I look over at my buddy Larry King. Hell, he's 82. I'm only 62. He's 82. Now, let me ask you a question. Viewing this, does it seem like I'm kind of enthused? Does it seem like I'm fired up? This kind of stuff energizes me. And I'm going to be real energized when we get to the year 2017 and the Congress is actually voting to screw people out of their benefits that they've worked years for, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, out of their health care, which we passed and fought for, all that kind of stuff, workers' rights, all that socialist stuff that the Russians love, Unbelievable. Let's get to a story now, if we can. The other day, I was in Fargo, and obviously our network has spent a lot of time covering the Dakota Access Pipeline. In fact, we were the first national network to do a story on the Dakota Access Pipeline. And we have had countless reporters out there. Manny Rapallo's been out there. Alexei Yaroshovsky's been out there. Simone Del Rosario has been out there. We've done a lot of work on the Dakota Access Pipeline. And we're going to continue to do it because I think it is going to be built because Trump wants it. And he's an oil guy. We've done that story. All right. So I wanted to go to a local talk show host, Joel Heitkamp, who has a job I used to have. He's a regional talker in 5 states. He's got excellent ratings, a big audience. It covers all of the Dakotas and Minnesota, into Montana and Iowa. And I asked him a number of questions about the Dakota Access Pipeline. Here's that interview. Joel, where's the pipeline right now? The protesters have disbanded for the most part. But what's going to happen?
I think what's going to happen is the pipeline, the company that's building the pipeline, the Dakota Access Pipeline as it sits right now, has everything in except the crossing of the river. And so what they're waiting for is they're waiting for the Trump administration to come into power. They think that they'll reverse the decision by the Corps of Engineers, and that when that reversal happens, that what you're going to see is the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
So Trump is the game changer?
Oh, totally the game changer. Donald Trump, there's no question that Donald Trump will have a completely different view of the Dakota Access Pipeline than what Barack Obama did.
What do the locals want? What do the people in the region want?
It depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to the Standing Rock tribe, I think they're unified behind Chairman Archambault. And while there might be some dissent and there might be some hard feelings about how all of this has gone about and worries about how it's going to play out in the future, I think that they really are about making sure that they get the Dakota Access Pipeline to respect the tribe. But then when you go to North Dakota and talk to North Dakotans, they can't understand the protest at all. So it isn't some middle ground. There's no middle ground at all. You're either 100% against or 100% for, which has been the really hard thing about all this.
What's going to happen when they start building and start the completion of the project? Are these protesters going to come back?
The only way they're going to complete this project is if they call out the National Guard. They're going to have the National Guard down there. Local law enforcement isn't going to be able to provide the type of security the Dakota Access Pipeline needs to complete this project. Many of these protesters that went home had been living off the ground out on that site since late August. And so you think about that. That's September, October, November, December. 3 of those are some of the most brutal months that we have here in North Dakota. And so, if you think those protesters are going to run away because of weather or not come back because of weather or because of armed guards, I think you're naive. They're going to come back, and they're going to make their stand when that happens.
The overall effort to stop the pipeline has now become national, international. Is that correct? I mean, it's almost like a symbol of fighting climate change.
Well, when you're on Saturday Night Live 2-3 weeks in a row being mentioned, that's kind of a sign that the whole nation is talking about it.
And do you think this effort is being subsidized by those who are trying to get climate change on the map?
Oh, I think so. I think there are people that are being paid to come in and protest, or at least subsidized to come in and protest. I think that if you look at the arrest records of who's been arrested at the site, you're going to find that there's a real disparity there, tribal members versus outside influences. I've been to the site a couple of times. Everyone who thinks that this is a protest done by Native Americans, it certainly is about Native American rights. That's part of it, no question. But the protesters themselves are not all Native American. Mm-hmm. In fact, the people arrested are primarily white.
And the push that has taken place, what has the national media missed? What hasn't been reported from your perspective?
Well, I don't think that the national media has been fair to North Dakota and the role that North Dakota played in all of this. I think that the national media, when they report on it, very seldom do they report that the North Dakota Public Service Commission held hearings on this, that the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe didn't attend any of those meetings. But also I think that they've missed, national media has really missed the sheer economics of what's going on. I'll give you an example. There's no question that the state government didn't, in my opinion, didn't have to shut down 1806 the way it did. But they knew that the lifeline for Prairie Knights Casino was 1806. So the longer that road shut down, the more money the tribe was going to lose. And they assumed that that was going to stop the tribe from the protest, that they were going to walk away and say, look, we're hemorrhaging dollars here. We can't continue to do this. We got to get our casino open because it funds many of the programs we have here as a tribe. And by shutting down that road and blocking access to that road, what they really did was hurt the tribe economically. And so then the only help that the tribe got economically came from outside influences around the country.
So that was a strategic move by those who wanted the pipeline and the state to shut that highway down?
I believe so. I do. I believe that the 1806 was shut down far in advance of what it needed to be for safety purposes. Had they opened that up, I think that certainly talks or negotiations could have continued. Also, now in the waning days, he's no longer governor of the state of North Dakota now. But now we're hearing press reports about how Governor Dalrymple, the governor of North Dakota, at the very end of his tenure as governor, met with the tribal leader. Well, why didn't that happen in September? Why didn't that happen in August? And why didn't the North Dakota Public Service Commission go down to the tribe itself and hold one of their hearings there? Their big complaint, and I made reference to this earlier, was that the tribe didn't attend one of the hearings. Well, why didn't you hold it on the reservation? I think everyone who is talking about how great relations have been between tribal members and North Dakota and how this has damaged our wonderful relationship is completely naive to what's been going on in North Dakota for years. There's been trouble between the tribes and the white government in North Dakota for a long time. And when the governor won't go down on the reservation, when senators won't go down on the reservation, I mean, I was proud of Heidi for going down to the protest site, for talking to people, talking to tribal leadership. But that's how you communicate with your fellow human beings.
Joel Heitkamp, regional talk show host based out of Fargo at KFGO. I'm Ed Schultz. You have a great holiday. I'm going to be playing golf next week every single day. And even though I pulled a muscle in my side, the oblique muscle, I believe it's what it's called, I'm still going to play. I don't care. And then we're going to have a great holiday. And I want you to have a very blessed holiday. Thank you for your attention to our work at RT America and on this website at wegoted.com. And we'll be back right after the first of the year. God bless you. Have a great one. And let's keep it going. Hey, folks, you've heard me talk about BioGreen Clean. I'm going to show you right now on my airplane just how tough this is. I want you to keep in mind, chemical-free, 100% plant-derived, biodegradable. It is the safest cleaner that you can get, and it's the most effective. Go to our website, wegoted.com, or go to biogreenclean.com. www.biogreenclean and order today. It's time to continue our conversation about mechanical insulation. Mechanical insulation is for the piping systems in our nation's commercial and industrial facilities. Facility owners are burning up billions of dollars through the lack of mechanical insulation on these piping systems. Call the iSave team. Insulation saves America valuable energy, and this team of energy conservation specialists is shovel-ready to save you money. Visit iSaveTeam.org to have a specialist give your plant an energy audit.
We perpetuate a culture of crime all the way from Wall Street right down to the main street in our hometowns. It's worse than it has been since FDR took control of the problem and said we can't count on industry taking care of the American labor. They probably have already engaged into some type of criminal cover-up, and the law prohibits the government from even doing anything about it.
Catch America's lawyer Mike Papantonio on YouTube at youtube.com/GoLeftTV.